interview for the NC Open Pass Civic Tech community with Caroline Harper, better known as CJ, and Jim Scarborough from Red Alerts.
Mm-hmm.
So, Jim, would you like
Hmm.
to start?
Let's do it.
Yeah.
The,
So, how about a 30-second elevator speech as if I were a man or woman on the street? You climbed on the elevator and you're
mm,
headed up to HQ to do a
yep.
presentation for your team. So,
Uh,
what would you share?
right. One of the biggest challenges with tornado warnings is the GIS of it. It's knowing exactly where you are, exactly where the tornado is, and when you can shelter, and exactly what you need to do because of the location where you are. So, what do you need to do in that location? So, if, for example, there comes a tornado warning to the Raleigh Convention Center, do you know where to shelter when you're at a convention at the convention center? Maybe you do, maybe you don't, but I, for one, don't, and I've pitched this thing at the convention center so many times, I don't know where to shelter. So, if they have one of my gadgets, if they have one of these things, it can be hooked up to the PA system in the building. And what it can do is over the internet, we will receive the messages from the Weather Service, the alerts from the Weather Service. And since the convention center hypothetically will subscribe to this service, then uh, then they uh, then we'll know their location, and we will compute the closest approach time of the storm and give them a window of time 10 minutes before the storm comes, 5 minutes after the storm comes, shelter for those 15 minutes. And we'll have prepared pre-recorded announcement giving the location of where to shelter. So all the questions that people get that keep people from sheltering, does it apply to me? Is this really something I need to worry about? What do I do when I know that it's time to shelter? All of those questions get addressed by this system, and and it takes care of that messaging so that the people know exactly what they need to do.
Wow. So there are a lot of real life scenarios in that.
Mm-hmm.
For me, the GIS piece really is something that strikes at the core of what I do on a daily basis.
Mm-hmm.
So I work as a planner and data analyst, and I know we had a tornadic event, I
Mm-hmm.
believe in 2014, 2012. It was an
Mm-hmm.
April
14.
tornadic event.
Mm-hmm.
And I was
That'd be
working in human
2011.
services.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and one of the things that we needed to be able to do was tell the boots on the ground where to look for concentrations of clients who we serve who are frail, elderly, and
Mm-hmm.
receiving services through our adult services.
Mm-hmm.
So it was sort of shocking because I never thought of the work in that vein.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and GIS was able to plot the swath of
Mm-hmm.
the path of the tornado across the county.
Mm-hmm.
And there was a great delay because I understood what they were saying. I understood, the longitude and latitude. I knew how to use
Mm-hmm.
the desktop models. I
Mm-hmm.
knew how to use the publicly available data, but I
Mm-hmm.
had to translate it
Mm-hmm.
for the social workers who were going
Mm-hmm.
out so we could deploy Spanish speaking staff to Spanish speaking
Mm-hmm.
communities, French
Sure.
speaking staff to French speaking communities. So it was a growing process. So in this sort of real life, civic tech moment, that sort of technology
Mm-hmm.
could provide a great advantage. So one of the questions that I wanted to ask you was, what would the consumer, what product would the consumer be able to use, or what the consumable
Mm-hmm.
is? And I understand from your explanation that it's public information or
Mm-hmm.
information that could be broadcast publicly.
Mm-hmm.
Um, do you,
It's really the combination of two bits of information. So it's the
okay,
public information that the Weather Service provides. The Weather Service provides the information about where the storm is right now. They issue a tornado warning. They say, at this time, the storm is in this location and it's moving in this direction. And they give a warning polygon that goes
Okay.
around the thing. Let me just give you my regular old pitch, the same thing
Okay.
that you've seen before. And with the slides, we can talk
Okay.
over those things. So I'm going to spare you a few of the details and we'll just fly through it because you've already seen it and you have the
Well,
joy of a
I'm
recording.
okay with that. I want to reflect the joy and thrill that goes
Yes,
with the process of
yes,
finding a solution.
yes. So this is my church in
Okay.
Huntsville, Alabama, and this is November 16th of '89. The tornado came through the day before,
Okay.
and the tornado came through at 4:36 in the afternoon. Sunset shortly after the storm was gone, and people didn't get down there. Um, when this happened, the phones were out for um, the whole evening. I mean, you could not place a phone call because everybody was trying to place a phone call. And I think that would probably change now because we
Yeah.
use VoIP and all that stuff, but maybe not. I don't know. I haven't been to a tornado site like that uh, lately. Um, but yeah, this was a terrible mess. And this is my brother's two-story elementary school. You notice it's reduced to one story. Um, there were 36 students at the school at the time, and they were in the after-school program. The people running the after-school program were smart enough to lead them to the staircase for sheltering under the stairs, and uh, the Weather Service issued the tornado warning at about the same time that this school was taken out. Now, you may say, "Gosh, why are we talking when the Weather Service only issued the tornado warning then?" Since that, shortly after that tornado, they came out with the NEXRAD radars, which give Doppler information that gives information about the wind direction by looking at the Doppler effect off the raindrops. And so they can tell how fast the wind is blowing at various elevations and get an idea of where the tornadoes are based on that. And so we have much better alerting as to where tornadoes are because at this time, somebody had to see it, call law enforcement. Law enforcement had to relay it to the Weather Service, and then the Weather Service would issue a warning. And that was a much slower process than what we have today, which is Weather Service sees it on the radar and issues a warning because it looks suspicious. When they issue that warning, we get the polygon, which is like this. They give us both the polygon, which you'll notice doesn't follow the political boundaries. Mother Nature doesn't care much for our political boundaries.
No,
And
it's just longitude and latitude.
right. And they give a vector.
Yeah.
So so they give the polygon and they give the vector. And the vector tells us it's going in this direction at this speed and it's starting right here. So they give its initial position and its vector. Um, one of the problems that people have is you'll hear there's this would when they read this off, they're going to say there's a tornado warning for Wake County, Johnston County, and what Harnett County, I think that is. Um, and they're gonna read that off, and I'm gonna say, well, I'm in Wake, but am I in this tornado area? And that right there is indecision and inconclusiveness, and it's not it's confusing.
Yeah.
Kind
So,
of like
so,
this
so
crosswalk
at
sign.
that time, I mean, at that moment of crisis, this
Yes,
would take away the
yes,
moments of indecision that could
it
cost people's
yes.
lives.
So
Wow.
right, so exactly, we're back to that. And if I have a subscriber who's right here, they're gonna either not get the alert or they're going to get a message that says it's okay, it's not your area, but there's one nearby. Don't worry about it.
So there's some
Um,
connection to the subscriber and the location of the event.
correct. So the
Okay.
subscriber is in a specific location. Now, there will be in my dream scenario, uh, a mobile version of this, but I have to
Okay.
get the fixed location thing done first, because the fixed location idea is a lot simpler. Uh,
Yeah, so the public building or the large
mhm.
a church or any
Or my
building.
house.
Uh,
I
okay.
have Amazon Alexa,
Okay.
Google Home,
Okay.
and these things can do the same thing. And I'm thinking what I want to do, I mean, as a business prospect, I want to enable those devices first because that's going to save some lives. Because I'm going to be able to tell people at home, shelter now. And then what I want to do is sell that to Amazon and Google and then turn around and invest in doing mobile, invest in doing the buildings, so do the real estate integrations. And places that are going to want to do that are, I mean, Lowe's is going to want to do that. They had a tornado tear up a store
Yeah.
not too long ago in
Yep.
North Carolina. Um, so, I mean, what are we doing here? We're trying to save lives. And one of the big problems is the Weather Service issues a tornado warning. Well, here's the warning. They issue the warning all the way out to here. And these people have to wait 45 minutes for the storm to get to them. These people look up and they say, it's a beautiful day. What are you talking about? And they go on about their business, ignoring the warning entirely. If it's more, the studies show that if it's more than 15 minutes, it's as good as nothing at all.
Wow.
So we're taking care of that. We reduce the false alarms because we only tell you to shelter when you really need to shelter. And then we improve sheltering compliance because we give clear, actionable, site-specific sheltering instructions because we know if you're in the convention center, you have to go to the interior hallways, blah, 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 blah. I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, wherever it is. Um, so it, that's what it's about. It's about saving lives. It helps to save time. So you were asking about the ROI. You're going to
Yeah.
save time. I mean, the number one thing you're going to do is you're going to save time sheltering during any warning. So the reality of it is, even when you have a tornado warning, there's
Yeah.
only like a 1 in 10 chance of your building being torn up at the best, at the
Yeah.
worst. So even if you have a tornado warning, your building is probably going to be okay. But you need to shelter because there's that other 10% chance that it might not be okay.
Yeah.
And
And so
yeah,
so your idea is sounds interesting, and it's especially great for me to hear how you continue to think and allow the idea to evolve as other
hmm
technologies either
hmm
emerge or
hmm
are are built out.
hmm
Um, and if I didn't know that I was on a Blue Jeans conference call, I'd say you're thinking like a red hat guy.
yeah, well, it's a red hat
The
blue
art
jeans
of
call even.
incrementalism. I would
That's right.
say I hear middleware.
Uh-huh.
So,
Well,
it's great that that the ideas has life, that it
mhm,
can move forward.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So that's one of those things that I thought about, and I see where I misspelled the word, but hey, I can only spell check so well while my husband is driving me to work. Um, so the consumer audience of
Yeah.
regular homeowners and
hmm
families,
hmm
wow, we see the devastation to communities.
hmm
And do you think that the civic tech or emergency management response first that see product of this nature as being necessary or
Yes, absolutely. Um, so people, the first responders look at this and say, "Oh my gosh, yes," because this makes less work for them. When when you have people sheltering, you have fewer injuries. When you have people sheltering, you have fewer fatalities. When you have people sheltering, it just goes better. And so they really recognize the need for this. Um, and they also recognize the whole confusion thing. So we've got several factors at play. We've got the duration of the warning. We've got the length of time that you need to stay sheltered. We've got the uh, confusion as to where you are relative to the polygon. I mean, it used to be they just issued the warning by county, and they say, okay, we're saving the we're saving people the trouble of sheltering when they're not in the area by issuing this polygon, but they're also adding to the confusion of it because people don't really understand if they're in or out of that polygon intuitively. So it's in Anger. Okay, that's probably not my house, but maybe it comes as far north as my house. I don't know. I'm in Apex, so it's
yeah.
probably okay. Um, but do I know where Anger is? I mean, I know where Anger is, but do you? I mean, not everybody does. So,
That makes
um,
it makes logical sense.
yeah. And so you have to answer the geography question. And then for people in strange scenarios, workplaces or conference centers or shopping, that look at this picture. This picture is a shopping mall
Yeah.
the day after the tornado. And all that rubble was a shopping mall and its parking lot. And there's nothing left. So those types of places are going to want to have people sheltering. And they're going to have a lot of people there who don't know where or how to shelter. And they need that clear, precise, actionable instruction right then.
Right, to take away the guesswork.
It takes away all the guesswork because we can completely automate the process of determining when we have to shelter because it's absolutely computable. I mean, there's nothing ambiguous about it. So yeah, we can do that. And that is exactly what I'm up to.
It's a really great idea. The product's usefulness and its viability to a community and in first response activities and natural disasters, its usefulness is clear.
Hmm.
Uh, sort of what I was thinking in my last sentence was finally, what would you do differently if you had it to do over again? But I sort
Hmm.
of want to add on to that because I sense a great passion in you
Hmm.
and really would like to know to the extent that you feel comfortable sharing, what's the impetus? And the reason I ask that is because I grew up in the Mississippi Gulf Coast,
Hmm.
down on the border of Mississippi and Louisiana,
Hmm.
and hurricanes were a part of are a
Hmm.
part of our life there.
Hmm.
And so I thought by moving to Carolina I'd escape that, but no, I only moved north. And
Hmm.
so for me, the experience of my first hurricane was Hurricane Camille. I know that Hurricane Katrina did great devastation. So I have a certain um, um, set of ideas about what I want to accomplish. Here, my husband coming in, and I am have to erase that part, Jim. So
Hmm.
I have a certain desire to look at innovations related to how we shelter individuals seek shelter.
Hmm.
So now that you've shared, sort of, the what and the who it impacts, can
Hmm.
you give me a bit about not only reflections, but nation of why it matters to you.
It's really about saving lives. It's about the, I also have a soft spot in my heart for um, things like traffic lights, control systems. Um, I don't know why. That sounds absolutely preposterous, but it's true. Um, and so these control systems make sense to me. I just understand them. And so does this system make sense to me. And it just makes sense to me that we should absolutely have this thing. I imagine we will have it sooner or later. And it is my hope that I get to make it sooner. And I would like to, a little bit of me wants to make some money off of this. I would like to pay off my mortgage. I would like to do other things with it. And I imagine I can probably pay off my mortgage with it. But that's not why I'm at it. That's not why I've been at it for 3 years now, trying to get this stupid thing to go. Um, and that's not why I'm finding time away from my family to work on this project. I'm doing it because I want to save lives, because I understand the problem really well, and I also understand the solution really well. Deliver it, and I'm still gobsmacked that we don't have it. So, yeah, let's have it.
Well, you know, I am not NPR or any great broadcast network.
Mm.
I definitely like the fact that presentation captivating, that
Mm-hmm.
you bring an authentic energy to work,
Mm-hmm.
that you involve your children. So
Mm-hmm.
real people doing real work, and you bring humanity to innovation. That makes
Mm-hmm.
sense.
Mm-hmm.
Not you don't have to have the box that may
You're breaking up a little bit. I can't say why. Let me check.
that better.
I don't know. Keep talking.
I don't know. I definitely think that you're onto something, as do you. I
Mm.
definitely believe that 3 years in, 3 years of investment, and with improvements in other technology,
Mm-hmm.
that the steps towards actualizing the product, taking
Yeah.
it to market,
Mm-hmm.
definitely improve. And the moment station will be there, and it might be sort of like the fast food industry had something going for a while, then competition came along, but that makes it
Mm-hmm.
feel stronger.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's a great
Yeah.
I think it's a great text. I think the notion is great. I think that you will do well, and you don't need me to cheer you
Well, it's
along.
very kind of you all the same.
But I definitely thank you for taking the time to let me hear about
Mm-hmm.
your ideas. Thanks so much for the convenience of choosing.
You're
Um,
entirely welcome.
and yeah, thanks for squeezing in that time because dad time is very important time, family time.
Yeah,
Thank you
I,
very much.
you're very welcome.
Is there anything that you want to share that I didn't ask, or thing that you want the Civic Tech?
Well, you asked if I had it to do over again, what would I do differently? And I didn't get quite to answering that one. And I thought about it over the course of the day. Um, I'm, I think I would probably chase after money first. Because what I'm trying to say is try to fundraise,
Okay.
because there are lots of different sources for fundraising for this project. I can go to TV stations, or I can go to foundations in the tornado alley, or I can go to other folks that care about safety so that I can put this on the the home assistant devices. And if I put it on the home assistant and I have it sponsored by the TV station or whatever else, then that's going to work fine. A TV station will give me enough money to do it, and I can probably even one TV station would give me enough money to do it, and then uh, and then I can hire that done. But it's really a challenge to balance how I use my time, and my time is the single most precious commodity in this equation. So it's really hard to work the puzzle and figure out how to solve things. So yeah, I don't know. Time is of the essence, and do the fundraising earlier. I don't
Wow. And
if you
you
can.
know that I am typically not an optimist. Um,
Hmm.
but I understand that geographic location and
Yep.
the need to know now. So that gives me greater appreciation for the project.
Hmm.
And I definitely think that with the time you have invested and with greater technology and the advances that
Hmm.
it will happen.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm excited.
Well, again, thank you. Now you can. I don't know if you want to send me an MPW or.
I'll
Yeah.
just send you an email with a link.
Okay.
It'll work great.
Yeah. The easier the better. I analyze stuff, but I don't figure stuff out so well without breaking.
That's all right.
I tinker.
That's all right. I think you'll be fine.
Well,
But
again, I appreciate it. If
yeah.
anything comes to mind, let me know. And if you
All
want
right.
to share anything about your next steps in the journey, that's fine too. I would just say, use what you said in reflection, and then my big ending will be something like we look forward to hearing and seeing more
Hmm.
about the project, seeing more of what's to come from Red Alert.
Sounds fabulous.
Okay.
All right. Super.
Thank you so much. I have a great evening for your family.
All right. Thanks, CJ. Bye bye.